Good morning everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart 84, and it's the first Sunday in June. Now if you're a regular on my channel for a while, you'll know that in the summer months I try and do a garden tour on the first Sunday of each month so that I can compare how plants have grown since the previous month, during the months previously, and obviously for anyone who's interested they can see how my plants have developed in the summer months. So it is the 6th of June, is the first Sunday of the month. It's a little bit late in the month because that's obviously the way the dates run. Now the tours used to be quite a lot more detailed in that I'd name every plant, but I've now got a problem in that I've probably got 60, 70, maybe 80 plants in containers now, and if I do this is basically a tour of the outdoor plants, not my tropicals which stand on the deck during summer. If I named every plant now, instead of being a 20-minute tour, it would be an hour-long tour, and apart from the fact it would be extremely boring and protracted. I can't remember the names of all the different plants without looking at the labels on some of them because they're all in different places, and also the little tablet I use for filming wouldn't have an hour's worth of memory on it. I'd be lucky. I'd probably run out of film after about 40 minutes, and there wouldn't be enough memory then to edit it and upload it to YouTube. So this is going to be a very brief, sketchy tour. I'm not going to name every plant. I'll just point out some of the plants in various parts of my small garden that are in containers, and if there's anything interesting as we walk around, or something that's coming into flower, then obviously I'll mention that. It's also looking like showers today, so it might get interrupted a few times by rain, but it's dry at the moment, so I'm going to flip the camera around and get on with a quick tour. So welcome to the garden everyone. It is raining slightly, but it's not enough to stop me filming at the moment, so I'm going to start. Now, for anyone who's not familiar, I do have what I consider to be a very small suburban garden. It's about 8 metres, roughly 25 feet wide, by about 10 or 11 metres long, which is obviously about 35 feet long, and that includes the area covered by the summer house and the deck that I'm standing on, so it's very compact. And when I first did the garden up, I put the raised bed on this side, but because of the large quantity of container trees I knew I was going to have, obviously they couldn't be planted in grounds because I'd only be able to have a few trees there. I might also like to put a garage at some stage, so we'll wait and see what happens. So anyway, we'll start with the raised bed on the left hand side first. This was put in May 2018. It does have a mix of ornamental as well as fruiting plants in it, so it's a little bit early in the season for my Canthus to be flowering. They'll probably come out in July. So if we have a very quick look over the plants, I've got an abutilon climbing against the fence there, a daphne there in the border. Down here I've got my in-ground Myers lemon. Behind the daphne, you can just about see it, is my variegated Ugni Mollini. That one is Flambeau. Against the wall I've got my kiwi berry. This is Actinidia arguta isai, and I'm pleased to say that after the frost damage it took in April, there are a few flower buds appearing on it. Probably can't show them. I'll see if I can zoom in. Yeah, you can probably see them. It has got a few flower buds on it, so there's a slight chance I might get some fruits this year. In front of that I've got I have three blueberries here planted in ground in my border for decorative purposes and fruits, but the birds obviously like to eat them, but I might try and net them this year. It's the first of my pineapple guavas. This one's Mammoth. As you see, I've got a row of Achapanthus along the front of the border, again for decorative purposes. Behind here I have some, these are Uremurous Foxtail lilies coming up. That's my flowering ornamental only passion fruit on the wall amethyst. As you can see, it's been badly hit by the frosts this year. Last year it didn't lose any leaves at all. This year it's virtually completely died, but there are some green shoots, so I'll be cutting that back soon. Unnamed pineapple guava that I cut back very heavily in about February or March. It's recovered very quickly and it's absolutely covered in flower buds now. They'll be flowering, should be opening in about 2 weeks' time. Behind it is my unnamed seedling persimmon. Supposed to be an Asian one, came from Burncoos Nurseries, has got a few small flower buds on it this year. Looks like it's going to be a male flowered tree. Next to it is my Caesalpinia that's now coming out of dormancy. It did get hit by the frost this year, but it's making a good recovery. I've got an in-ground pomegranate here which had 2 flowers on it last year, so I'm expecting more flowers this year, probably in July and August. Next to it is an Australian bottle brush. That's going to be flowering in about 2 weeks' time, makes a wonderful display. Behind it is my Cardiocrinum giganteum. It's a giant Himalayan lily. That's making good progress, probably 5 feet tall. I've done a standalone video for that. Behind it is a buddleia, or butterfly bush. This is my 3rd in-ground pineapple guava here. This one is Triumph. It also has buds starting to appear on it. Probably a little bit hard to see at the moment. There are some lower down, but those have got flower buds on it, so this should flower again this year and hopefully fruit. I had some fruits off it last year. This is my in-ground seedling Pawpaw, American Pawpaw. I can't pick them out and show them on camera, but it does look, they may easily drop off the next week or two, but it does have a handful possibly of embryo fruits on it. I'm not convinced they'll stay on, but there is a slight chance. And in front of it there's a Crinum Powelli which flowered for the first time last year, which I was very pleased about. Moving over very quickly to the other side, if I can step over the rubble without falling over. I'm still working on this part of the garden. We've got my Asian Persian Ziki at the back. That's set maybe a dozen fruits on it, and it looks at the moment as if they're going to stay. In front of it is my pink Moldovan mulberry, covered in flowers and fruits. First of my figs, this one's a brown turkey. Down on the floor I've got some of my newer varieties of figs I bought back in, I think it was about February. They're doing very nicely. I'm not going to name all the varieties, I'll feature them in a fig video. One of my persimmons here at the front. Now behind the persimmon I've got my Illinois ever-bearing mulberry. This will feature in separate videos. Look at I think you can see it's got an insane amount of flowers and berries on it this year, which is very promising, so I'm going to have plenty of those. Behind it was a pomegranate, a Molar Delch, which I thought had died. Looked very poorly, but it has got some green shoots coming out on it now, which is promising. My other Asian persimmon at the back is a Hong Li. Only one fruit appears to have set on it, so not very good. The flowers, unfortunately, were got to by the late frosts we had, and the embryo fruits. This is my edible Cornus here. This is Cornus Cousa. I've got 4 jujubes. One of them's leafing out reasonably well. The others are starting to leaf out now, but like as is always the case with jujubes in this country, it's insanely late. I mean, we're now into the first week of June. They probably won't flower till July, so once again there'll be zero chance of getting any fruits on them. This one is a Carob Tree at the front here. Came from the nursery and appeared to have root rot issues on it. I've repotted it and cleaned the roots off, and I'm hoping that the roots are going to recover and it's going to grow, but it wasn't very satisfactory. That is unfortunately a very dead looking persimmon. I'll feature that in a separate video. That's Tam Cam. Now these are my, looking around here, you can see all my persimmons. I'm not going to go through them in detail, they'll feature another video. Now they've made a good recovery from the frost damage they all suffered in April. Unfortunately, all the growth that was damaged was the growth that carries the flowers. It's the first flush of growth which carries the flowers on persimmons. So all of these recovery shoots unfortunately don't have flowers on. In fact, the only one that I think that's got flowers on it is probably the one at the back, which is Chocolatino, and that hadn't come out in April at all. It was very late leafing out, and because it was late leafing out, it avoided the cold snap we had, and that's actually covered in flowers. So that's predominantly male flowering, although it does produce some female or self-fertile flowers. Some of the other persimmons have got a lot of dead branches on the tips, but I'll cut those off, and hopefully the lower down shoots will recover, but the cold definitely got to them. This is my little Japanese raisin tree here. Behind it is a goji berry. At the front, this is my largest Pakistan mulberry. This is a black one, I think. It's supposed to be a black fruited one, but we'll wait to see. Next to it, I've got another mulberry which has a few fruits developing on it. That's not a black mulberry, that one. Got another of my figs here. Honeyberries down there growing lower down on the ground. That one is my what is that? That's a Szechuan pepper plant. Next to it, hasn't grown much, is my Chinese mulberry. That's the Zukis, which I showed. Another thing, the graft rotted off and it died. However, there is some life in the rootstock, so if that grows some suitable shoots, I might graft onto it. Most of the persimmons are doing quite well. I've got another pawpaw at the back. That does have some embryo fruit set on it as far as I can see, so I hope they're gonna hold. There's another pawpaw in front of it. That's a name variety. It's too small to flower at the moment, but I'm hoping if I can get it growing well this year, in a couple of years' time, I'll see flowers on that as well. Yet another pawpaw at the front. That did very badly last year. It looks very weak, but I'm hoping if I feed it, I'll get some growth into it. Various fig trees here, including 2 Brabers on that particular variety. Probably just about see them. Unfortunately, all of the other Brabers I had on my figs were destroyed by the cold this year that we had in April. It killed absolutely everything. At the back, I've got 3 chocolate vines there, 3 different varieties of Akebia now. 2 of them flowered heavily. There's been no fruit set on it whatsoever, for whatever reason. Doesn't really matter, but I'm hoping with the white one that I've planted that will cross-pollinate with the others, and in future years I might get some fruits. Various Chilean Guavas here start to recover. Didn't look very good a couple of months ago. I think they got damaged quite badly by the cold this year, and I've repotted at least one of them, and it seems to be coming back. There's another pomegranate hitting the back there. I think that one is wonderful, if I remember rightly. In front of it is my medlar. All the flowers fell off except one. One flower stayed on. That's the remains of it there. I have no idea if it'll set a fruit. I've got various other pineapple guava varieties here. There's 3 along the front. I'm not sure any of them will flower this year. They're a little bit young, but they may get the odd flower on them. We'll have to wait and see. And I've got 3 larger ones that I've had for the previous year behind there, and they will certainly flower. A little bit of dieback on a couple of them, which I'll prune off in the next week or 2. Down there we've got one of my ornamental plants. That's a Cali Canthus. Has wonderful flowers on it with a lovely scent. They'll be out soon. Now I've got 2 Loquats here. You seem to keep suffering from this tip dieback. I'm not sure if this was due to cold, overwatering, or possibly over fertilising. I'm not sure, but they seem to be sending out nevertheless they still seem to be sending out plenty of new growth, so I'm not too concerned. And I've got I think some Mrs. Cookson and an Oliver are the 2 main varieties I have. There's my little let me see, it's I forget the name of it now. I know what it is, but it's the island it comes from. I can't remember. It's Vaccinum cylindricum, but I can't remember. It's something like a Canary Islands blueberry. It's actually got flowers coming on it now, which I'll feature in another video. Unfortunately, I got bad dieback from the cold on my second Chilean Guava. This one was Flambeau. It's been hit very badly, but there are signs of new growth on it. I've cut all the dead growth back as far as I can see, so I think that'll probably recover. Next to it is my flat Saturn peach, shooting out nicely at last. My Lumera piculata that you saw in a video recently, my blue sausage tree, that one is finished flowering nearly now, but it's doing quite nicely. Got another mulberry here, that is the second loquat. No sign of any life yet, unfortunately, from my 3 fruiting passion fruits. Those are maypops. I've got 3 in there. Don't know if they're going to come up because we had a very wet winter, and they like dry winters when they're dormant, so we may or may not see those. And then finally my little border here, a couple of strawberries on the ground which are being kindly eaten by snails and slugs or birds. And my final border, which basically has just a rhododendron in it, a few achapanthus, and this large fig, which I don't know the variety of. Sun's shining. If I walk around this side, perhaps I can show it better. So that's my large in-ground fig. It's the only one I've got in ground. It was covered in brabers in April, but unfortunately that cold frosty spell we got killed all the brabers off, and damaged all the young growth that was coming out. As you can see, it's recovered well now, but unfortunately lost all of the brabers, and I thought I was going to have about 2 dozen brabers, but that unfortunately is the penalty we have of our climate. Sorry about that, the camera spun around. And finally just a couple of camellias I've got in pots. So that's a very quick, very brief garden tour. I know I haven't named all the plants for people who are interested. Still got some building work to finish at the fence at the bottom of the garden. That'll be the last job done, and then I can move plants into that area as well. So basically happy with how most things are done. I've had a few losses, but it's not been a disaster. So that's 15 minutes. I think that's gone long enough. So thanks everybody for watching the video, much appreciate it. Please remember to like the video if you like anything that I'm growing here. Obviously subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more detailed stuff about each of the types of plants, and remember to click on the bell if you do want to be updated as any videos come out. So I'll catch up with you all in the next video. Brett out for now.